Division 2 and you're live with Tux. What up, Banditos? I got a good show for you. Today we're going to be talking about the Diamondback, and I got a Diamondback build, and we're going to be running it. And I got to show you this thing because it's a beast. It's been a grip since I've run it. But before I get too far ahead of myself, let's just make sure that we are coming in loud and clear. And you can let me know by giving me a hashtag TuxLive. If you can hear the words that are coming out of my mouth, give me a hashtag TuxLive. I'd appreciate that. And we will get this show on the road. Banditos. Hope y'all are doing good. What up? All right, Sinner. Thanks for hitting me up with that TuxLive. Sounds like you can hear me. I will turn down the music here in just a moment. What up, what up, what up? Who's in the house? We got Agent Taquito. I get a kick out of that, man. And I like that you have a little taco man for your your dealio there. Beautiful, beautiful, Agent Taco. All right, Parker Flyrook. What's going on, Parker? How are you, bro? Mr. Detective, what's up? What up? SH in the house. All right, all right, all right. So, all right, we got a banger for you. Diamondback. Diamondback. You guys use this thing? It's a beast. You know what I'm talking about? It's an exotic, right? So it's not used that very often, right? It's not talked about very often, but this thing is an absolute beast, and we're gonna talk about it. And it's been a while since I've used it too. But before we do, let's just make sure we get a little housekeeping out of the way. First off, if you like what I do, if you like what the content that I put down, if you like what this channel is about, support the cause. You can do that by hitting like right now on this video. I'd appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed, do that too. Do that too. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Appreciate you. And if you're just now joining the channel for the first time or coming across me for the first time, then welcome. Welcome. And also members of Tux's Players Club, you know who you are because you got a cool little skull next to your name. I just dropped a really badass build. A really badass build actually, and I have the link for that build inside the description area of this live stream. So if you're not a true or hardcore bandito or part of the Texas Players Club, at least a true or hardcore bandito, then you won't be able to access it. But if you are a true or hardcore bandito member level, then you will be able to access it. And I put the link there in the description area. And also, as a reminder, you do have you can go to my channel homepage and there's a playlist for members there as well. But that's a hot build. Definitely need to check it out. I'll be showing some gameplay footage of it in a different stream, but not in today's stream. Today we're talking about the Diamondback, but that's a really hot build. Hope you guys enjoy it. Nicholas Jackson, what's up? From the Caribbean, bringing it back. All right, bringing us some of that sunshine. For the rest of you, if you don't know, classified builds are secret builds made just for Texas Players Club, true and hardcore bandito member levels. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about this new Foundry build that I created. And these are actually extra builds I make as a thank you for supporting me, the channel, and therefore the entire community, because that's what I do, is I build and support the community. So if you want to tap into these secret builds, you can get access today by making sure you're at least a true bandito member level. And you can do that by hitting the join button, and we'll be dropping join buttons in the feed here, but you can also get access to that join button in any of my videos in the description area. Melvin, what's going, bro? What's going good, bro? Matt, hi Matt. Hey. Okay, so I can start the gameplay footage. I'm gonna let the gameplay footage run for a minute, and then I'm gonna jump into the build. It's not a very complicated build. I've based this around the negotiators, and I didn't do that at first, right? But I decided in the end it was the better way to go, and for power and for many other reasons. Jaco, what's going on, man? Tux Jam, I like it. And so it's this. Let's just actually, you know what? Before we get too far ahead of ourselves in the gameplay, let's jump back to my character because we need to talk about this rifle. All right, and then your guys' opinions are really important here because, especially if you're an experienced player, but you new players too, I want to hear your feedback on if you've received this. So, I mean, if you've used this. First of all, let's talk about it. Okay, so the Diamondback is basically the exotic version of the 1886 lever-actioned rifle. It's a little bit shorter too, I think, actually. I think they've cut off the back part of it, so it's a little bit shorter, but anyways, that's what it is. The mods on it are accuracy, reload speed, it's got horrible reload speed, by the way, stability, and critical hit damage. So if you look over to the right, you see that's got a decent base weapon damage, but it's actually lower than the 1886. They did lower it if you compare it. Actually, let me go into my stash. Let me see if I have an 1886 here so we can do a side-by-side. Yeah, I do. And let me just move the... Oops, of course my stash is full. Of course it's full. What are you doing here? Just dump that. Excuse me for 1 sec. Let me just go back to that Virginian. We'll use the Virginian, which is the named 1886, but the base weapon damage is the same as the regular 1886. Okay. So, as you can see, the Virginian's got actually what I would consider quite a bit more base weapon damage. So at 838,000. So it's got about 32,000 more base weapon damage. That's quite a bit, right? So, and we're using the Diamondback on the right. So also the attribute, the Diamondback comes with headshot damage instead of damage to targets out of cover. So it's a little bit more situational there, but that's okay. And then we're looking at the talent though. It's all about the talent with the Diamondback, okay? So the talent is called Agonizing Bite. So it basically, the Diamondback randomly selects a target, right? And it highlights them, you know, it's pretty obvious who's the target. And then hitting that enemy will consume the mark, guaranteeing a critical hit. And then it's giving you 20% amplified damage. So you got guaranteed crit and 20% amplified damage on that one bullet. Okay, just that single bullet. Then after hitting that mark, all shots after that are guaranteed crits for 5 seconds. So you have 5 seconds of crits, guaranteed, right? And then anytime you reload or you kill all the enemies, a new random enemy will be selected. So basically the idea so if you want to build into this smartly, then you want to take advantage of that talent. Thus, you don't want any crit chance on your build, right? So, and that's what I've done. So as you can see here, I'm running 4 pieces of Negotiator's Dilemma, and we are getting some crit chance from Negotiator's Dilemma, but we can't avoid that. Now, so you know, I did try to create a build like without a brand set, and it worked great. It worked great. I had fun. I ran lots of control points with it, and it did well. But what I found actually is that by removing crits and not having to roll crit chance and not having to roll headshot damage onto a build, it allowed me to add more crit damage onto the build using negotiators. And look at this lady. Is she humping my leg? Get off my leg, woman. Get out of here. Lady's humping my leg. The hell. Yeah, so negotiators is basically allowing me to have even more crit damage. So, and a lot of that's coming from your kills. So you get 2% critical hit damage stacking up to 20 times, right? So that's basically giving you 40% more crit damage. And so as you can see on this build, I'm gonna have 245% crit damage, right? With guaranteed crits happening, with 20% amplified damage on at least that first shot from the marked target. See that? You can get that 20 for that right there where it says hitting the marked target guarantees a critical hit with 20% amp damage. So that one shot's gonna give you that amp damage, and then from there we're guaranteed crits at 245%. Is that what it was? Yeah, 245. So that's pretty high. And I was close with the other build, you know, with not using the negotiators set, I was at about 235. So it was really close. It was really close. And I max critted it out. But, and then I rolled it into a lot of headshot damage. So the advantage was that I had a lot of headshot damage. But with the negotiators, of course, we're getting the hostile negotiations talent with it. So that was a big perk for me, okay? And you guys may or may not have seen this build before. I think it's probably been around for a while, but it really synergizes, I think, beyond what you would expect. It actually synergizes, it actually was performed way better than I expected. Now, for the most part, and I think somebody had asked me this too at some point, but Negotiator's Dilemma, because you have to spread the crits, right? Because you have to spread the crits, it's a lot better with weapons that have a higher RPM, you know, at least 600 RPM, right? Something reasonable, so that you can go crit 1, crit 2, crit 3 marked targets, right? And then focus fire and kill them all, right? And so that's why normally I wouldn't recommend a rifle. Like, I wouldn't recommend the Virginian with Negotiator's Dilemma. But the Diamondback works really well because you have that guaranteed crit, and then your hits are hitting so hard that you don't need to put out a lot of rounds to kill out those 3 enemies. You know, literally, what you have in the mag, which is 5, will kill the 3 marked enemies that Critical Measures gives you. So Critical Measures, so I think the backpack is best in slot for Negotiators, and it works out really well for this build. So Critical Measures is bumping up that damage that we're spreading to the additional targets by 40%, so from 60 to 100%. So basically, with this gun, we have a guaranteed crit. So every bullet is basically guaranteeing to mark that target, and then guaranteeing to spread the damage to those additional targets. Right, and then our on kill, we're getting more critical hit damage. So that's the idea. And you know, Negotiator's Dilemma's been out for a while, so I don't want to focus too much on what it does, but I think you guys all know by now, right? And then I am running Fox's Prayers. It just makes a lot of sense for this rifle. It's sort of best in slot for a rifle build, right? This is an exotic rifle, and so you don't have to, but it's a really good way to go. So it's giving us that 8% damage to targets out of cover. And we don't have any damage to targets out of cover like rifles normally would have. And so that's making up for that. And then I've got more crit damage there. Now for the chest, you got a lot of different ways to go, actually. I decided to roll Perfect Headhunter, but and the reason why is because every now and again you can go on a killing spree with headshots, and so that's what that's allowing you to do. And then sometimes you don't have to worry about the guaranteed crits or the amplified damage. But the truth is that this is actually not that good of a headshot rifle. And the reason why is that I found that, and we're going to be talking about this stuff in detail, so I realize I'm going quickly. But I found that it pulls down to the body more than usual. Now, a lot of these heavy-handed weapons like the D50, the 1886, they all tend to pull down to the body, but I found the Diamondback did more than usual. And so it's not intended, I believe, that the way the weapon handles, it's not intended to be a one-shot, one-kill, chain killer, perfect headhunter type of build weapon. And so now I'm running Perfect Headhunter because every now and again you can get that headshot kill chain effect rolling, but I don't rely on it. Not like I would with the Virginian or the 1886. The non-exotic version of this, I would definitely go and recommend Headhunter. And I decided that it was the best thing to go with for this build because there wasn't really much other than Braced. So I did run Braced with this Walker and Harris chest piece here that you see on the left, and it actually worked really well. And so feel them both out, you know, Headhunter or Braced, and go with whatever you like. I chose Headhunter just because I liked having the possibility and every now and again the ability to have that chain kill effect. But yeah, so this is the Diamondback. It's a beast. It's not used very much, but and that's what we're going to talk about. That's sort of the topic. So this is definitely a build video. That's the build, but part of it is actually the discussion that I would like to have with you guys is the usability of this thing. And so the thumbnail I put out there, I titled, right, the thumbnail for the YouTube video says McNasty, because this thing is. It's gonna take me a couple of minutes to get rolling here in the fight. So bear with me, it's only a couple of minutes and then I'll get warm. So, and you'll see how powerful this thing is. But so basically you take that marked target and then, you know, start laying on the damage. Now, what I think, and I want to see what your guys' thoughts are. What I would like to go as far as bold to say is that this is not a casual player's weapon. I think that this is actually a really advanced weapon to use, and then it has nothing to do with the build. It's the weapon. First of all, you have to land your shots because the reload thing, even with braced, is nasty. And so it's not like most one-shot, one-kill builds like you've seen before, the D50, the shotgun headhunter build, or anything like that. This one's way different. The reason why is because this weapon is absolutely worthless if you cannot hit your marked target. You know, and so from there, once I hit the marked target, you know, then we got some build mechanics kicking in, right? It's like, you gotta spread the love, start spreading the love, you know? So my accuracy will start to improve here in a minute as I kind of get used to the weapon handling, but it's definitely not an easy thing to use, this weapon. So, you know, it does take a little getting used to, but who's using this weapon right now? Who's used it recently? It's actually been a long time since I've pulled this out of my stash, so it definitely had a lot of dust. I had to take this to the cleaning desk to clean it up. Needed an oil rub down, that's for sure. But yeah, I see you guys having a discussion here. Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's still this way for new players, but you originally had to unlock this thing by completing the Kenley College map, right? Which is and it wasn't open every week either. So I thought it was like every other week. I can't remember how they used to do it, but it was kind of random. I would just wait for the notification, but yeah. So you'd have to go to Kenley College, complete that to unlock it, and then once you got it, it became available in targeted loot pools. So you can actually farm for it if you're playing rifles, or if you're opening up exotic caches. But I don't know if it's that way anymore. It might just be part of the targeted loot now. You might not have to go play Kenley College anymore. But I don't know. You new players are gonna have to tell me that. So the Tilt Blazing says the Diamondback is amazing, just a bit underrated. It packs a wallop. It does. I agree with you. But what I don't agree with, Tilt Blazing, I guess when I'm arguing, what I'm bringing up or want to have a discussion about is I don't think it's underrated. I think it's a very challenging weapon to use. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, like, I would say it differently. I would say that this weapon isn't for everybody for sure, but especially I think for more casual players or even newer players, this is a very challenging weapon. So first of all, one of the reasons why I never used it in the past, or I rarely use it, is because look at that killing spree. Do you see that killing spree? That was nice. Let's pull that back a little bit because I was talking. So let's see. Pull that back to, what was that, 440, I think a little bit beyond that, right? There we go. Check this killing spree out. This is why you want to use it. So this is negotiators. This is where the negotiators and this gun just really come in hand in hand. That's nice. And also Headhunter procced on that one because I got a headshot kill, so it also helped. So I had everything working for me there. And that's where you can get in trouble, as you can see. Anyways, but what I'm saying is that this is a really challenging weapon. And so what I was gonna say is one of the reasons why I've avoided it in the past is because those marked targets are random. And that's like, so when you got 3 enemies charging at you, you know, there's usually one that's shooting at you, right? And that's the target you want to hit first. And it'll sometimes choose another target that might even be in cover or hiding, or maybe he's even behind you or something like that, but he's not shooting at you. And like, you can't shoot him if you wanted to because he's hiding in cover, you know? So that's why the weapon is really challenging. But what I found today, the last 24 hours, actually, as I've been playing with this rifle again, and it really has been a while, is that it's actually really fun to play if, you know, you got really good situational awareness, you got good experience, your character's all maxed out, you know, you got a strong build, you know how to use negotiators, you know, basically if you're not a casual player, you know what I mean? Like if you're experienced in the game enough to like, yeah, like I got this. This is a challenge for me. This is how I wanted to describe it. Tilt blazing. This is like how I want to describe it, like with the community, is like, I feel like playing with the Diamondback is like playing with its own set of directives. It's like its own directive, you know, global challenge. It brings its own challenge. You're playing like you're like playing a game inside the game. You know what I mean? Because it's bringing challenges to the table. The gun is bringing challenges. It is. It really is. But can't wait to hear, see what you guys have to say about this. You can run perfect glass cannon with this too. I mean, I'm not quite sure if you need it or not, but I find I do take a lot of damage with this build. I survive. I never run out of med kits, which is good. Armor kits, which is good. So that tells me that the build is performing. I use them. And actually, what I'm really surprised about, guys, is that Michael Myers, you use this a lot. Oh, that's cool. That's good to know. I know that there's somebody on this channel that follows me on this channel that uses this a lot, because I recall like somebody mentioning it. Oh, the Diamondback, use the Diamondback or something like that. Especially, I think when we were going over those like Virginian builds or those 1886 builds, I think you, Michael Myers, actually mentioned that you loved, yeah, I remember now. You were saying that you loved the exotic version, which was the Diamondback. But yeah, and I realize that I love it too. And it's literally been, I can't even tell you how long it's been since I've used this thing. I literally don't remember. It was a long time ago. But I'm glad I did. And I was surprised that I went with negotiators. And the synergy between this weapon, you know, with the guaranteed crit and its power output, I'm not sure there's a better way to go. On the other, but I would like to mention that I actually did run this with the Hunter's Fury. I gave that a whirl, and it actually performed nicely, because I mean, all I was doing with Hunter's Fury was trying to just play within, because it's not really a super long range rifle. It actually wants you to play in kind of close, kind of tight. And I know that about the 1886, and the Diamondback is no different. And so I was like, oh, let's see what the Hunter's Fury set can do for us. And it actually it does really well. And also you get that disorientation happening, you know, when you on kill. But that amp damage gives you a nice boost too. So you're getting 20% amp damage when you hit that marked target, right? And then Hunter's Fury is giving you another 20% if they're within 20 meters or whatever it is, 15 meters. And then on, you know, with Hunter's Fury on kill, you're stacking that amplified damage. So that also worked, but Negotiators does work better. And when I say work better, I'm meaning like, this is the part where what really surprised me, is that I found out that I can solo legendary with this thing. And that really surprised me, honestly, because it's just, I mean, I wouldn't normally like I would solo legendary with the sniper rifle, you know, but to solo legendary with the Diamondback is not something that I would expect would work, and it does. And actually, so I'm gonna clear a few control points here, and then I'm gonna show you some solo legendary gameplay footage where I make it about almost halfway. in a single try, unedited gameplay footage on my first run, and it's in this gameplay footage. So this is all back-to-back unedited gameplay footage, and you will see actually, and it's got great survivability. I mean, I don't go down with this build, but again, I want to say for you newer players out there or casual players that this one might not be for you. What do you guys have to say about that? You know, if you consider yourself a casual player, you know, do you like this weapon? I'm curious to hear your guys' opinion on it. But look at this. So this is a headhunter killing spree right here. So this is all headhunter. But those are guaranteed crits, but that's all headhunter love right there. And that's why I chose headhunter, because every now and again, you can go in those little headhunter killing sprees. But this weapon is not super great at landing those headshots. Let's see who else we got in the stream. Availing Power. What's up, brother? He says, got it from the summit. Not good enough to use it yet. LOL. Okay. So I think Availing Power is, you know, with that comment, he's agreeing with me. It's just like, he's saying that it's a very difficult weapon to use, which also makes it not fun. And that's why, you know, going back to Tilt Blazon's comment, which is you saying that, oh, the weapon's underrated. It's not. I mean, if you're not up for the challenge, this gun sucks. It does. But I'm up for the challenge today. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm up for the challenge. Like, let's do this. It's like running directives, right? And so, like, if you don't feel like, if you're not up to the challenge to run directives suck. Why run directives? They slow you down. You know what I mean? They make the game harder. The enemy's more difficult. They're already a pain in the ass. But if you're up for the challenge, then directives can be fun. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how the Diamondback is, you know. It's not fun unless you're up for it, because you'll see, I'll try to call it out, where this is actually a good moment. Like, some of my marked targets are, is knock these guys. These guys are my threat, but the marked target is off screen, way over there. You know what I mean? But these riot foam guys, they're my real threat. And so I had to shoot those riot foam guys with less than maximum potential damage output, right? Which in the gun is kind of worthless when you're not critting. So I mean, it's not super worthless. It does have an 800,000 base weapon damage, but you know. But when you land those hits, those guaranteed crits, especially with the amplified damage, I try to grab the amplified damage whenever I can. But that's nice. I mean, boom. And so that's why actually what ends up happening, what I felt like what ends up happening is like with very few shots, you find yourself clearing the checkpoint surprisingly quick. I find myself going, oh, it's over. You know what I mean? Like I hardly put out any shots. And that's unique. I don't feel like that with my other 1886 builds. But Sam, how you doing, man? What's up? What's up? What up? Bringing sexy Diamondback back. I like that. Yeah. Hey, sorry I missed you guys over the weekend. I actually got my booster shot, and it took me out for 36 hours. Like I was super tired. It made me super sleepy. And then it kind of gives you like a 24-hour flu. I know everybody reacts differently to these things, but for me, it makes you feel like you have a flu for like 24 hours. It was only like basically 24 hours, but yeah, it kind of just drove me down, took all my energy away. But and I sort of expected that actually. That's what happened when I got my second shot too. So, but all's good. I'm at 100% now and got that over with. So got all 3 of my shots. Glad to say that I got it over with. So. Daryl left. Yeah, you're right, Daryl. Daryl's saying, yeah, and that's something I should mention. If you guys have never used this rifle, like reloading mid-mag or at the end, anytime you reload, it doesn't matter when, will select a new target. It will select a new target unless there is no other target. Okay, so right there, that target isn't selected, but I did by critting on him, I killed those other targets. You can't see that, obviously, it's off screen, but That's a good deal about this weapon. But anyways, so if you don't like that target that is selected, you just have to reload. The problem is that maybe you want that target and then you have to reload, and then it selects a target that you don't want, and that happens all the time, all the time. Again, it's like playing with directives. If you're not up for the challenge, I do not recommend this weapon whatsoever. I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. I'm up for the challenge. You know what I mean? But if that's not you, then I don't recommend this. But boy, you know, if you're ready to use this weapon, it's a lot of fun. And if you do use it, this is the build that I recommend you use. The Negotiators. Again, I ran it other ways. Building max crit builds, max headshot builds, max headhunter crit damage build, 0 crit chance every way I went. And I ran Bellstone, I ran armor on kill. But this just ended up being the best way. El Rukin said, I got my diamond back from my hyena's lockbox. That's crazy. El Rukin, and you hadn't played Kenley College yet? Is that what you're telling us? That'd be good confirmation if that's true. Yeah, you know, I'm just reading Alice Nauman's comment here, where he says I combine it with the M16A2 when I get frustrated. And that's right. That's right. Like, the reality is that you should have a backup weapon when you get into trouble. You know, when enemies are charging at you, switch to it. You know, I think like a really strong shotgun would actually pair up nicely with this. I have the apartment as my backup weapon, but I basically never use it. Like, never. I mean, that's just me. I kind of like when I get into a weapon, I want to feel it out. You know what I mean? Use it up. Make the most of its talent. But so I'm sort of like going all into the challenge of this rifle, but you're exactly right. The truth is that, I mean, no, I don't know, maybe let me take that back. Like, if this weapon is, I feel like this weapon really is like, you got to be up for the challenge, otherwise it's not worth running. You know what I mean? Like, if you find yourself switching and using your other weapon too much, then you shouldn't even be using this weapon. You're probably better off with, like, you just using the 1886, because that's a beast. The 1886, the non-named version of this, non-exotic version of this, is strong all on its own, and it's worthy. It is worthy. You should use the 1886. Look at my 1886 builds. They're badass. I love them. Supply room access unlocked. East 16th. You're crazy, man. He says, once I mark all the enemies, they turn into Barry Sanders. Can't hit him. DB is a monster. It really is. It's a beast. It's a wild animal. But once you tame this rabid snake, can snakes be rabid? Well, let's assume they can. Once you tame this rabid snake, it really does work for you, and we're going to see that here in a little bit. Actually, I'm having a lot of fun. There are a few times where it's frustrating because my target is, like, you know, on the other side of a fence, and I can't get to him. But you know, that it sort of worked itself out eventually. So, let's see. Jackie Narula says, can you please explain how you mark enemies? It looks like it was under the wrong impression that anytime I aim, they are marked automatically. Yeah, no, that's not right. So it randomly marks the enemies. So when you start an engagement, so when you enter basically a danger zone, it's gonna just pick the nearest or random target nearest to you. It might not be the nearest target, but like if there's 5 guys close to you, it's gonna pick one of those guys. So and then every time you reload, it's gonna pick a different target. So that's how it's working. So it really is random, and you can change your target by reloading. That's basically what we're saying. So it really is random. So every time, so I do not have a choice on who my target is in the entire gameplay. And so And that's why Negotiators works. That's why this build works, because Negotiators is telling you hit multiple targets, then focus fire. Don't focus fire all the way through. It's saying hit target 1, hit target through, hit target 3, hit 3 different targets, and then kill them. Now, the cool thing about this gun is that, so if I want to kill target 2, but it marks target 1, then I'm going to swing my rifle, hit target 1 first, then hit target 2, and then hit target 3. And by the time I hit target 3, all 3 targets are going to be dead with that single bullet anyways. And so that's why it synergizes so nicely with Negotiator's Dilemma, because the power from the guaranteed crit and that 20% amplified damage on the first round is enough to kill all 3 targets by the time you get to the 3rd target. So that's why you're accepting with the Negotiators build. You're like, I have to spread the love anyways. And so I'm not looking for a kill at first. I'm looking for 3 targets to mark. And so I don't care which 3 targets. Well, you do care, but so the Diamondback is selecting one of those targets you need to mark, but you're going to mark 2 more anyways. And so that's why it synergizes with for Negotiators. Yes, Jackie, for Negotiators, you can choose the targets that you mark, but you had to have chosen the target, that agonizing bite that the Diamondback chose first. You have to hit that target first because it's going to give you your guaranteed crit. If you don't have your guaranteed crit, then any enemy you choose afterwards will not be marked because you have to crit to mark them. So no matter what, you have to choose, you have to hit the target that the Diamondback selects for you at random. From there, then it's up to, you can choose any target as long as you take that one out first. And you don't have to kill them, you just have to tag them. And so that's the thing you got to start training yourself on, is like, hey, I don't need to kill these enemies, I need to tag them, and then they will die, sort of on their own, because of Negotiator's Dilemma is spreading all of that damage. So you just have to keep training yourself that try not to focus fire, try not to focus fire, spread the love, spread the love, spread the damage. Everybody will die. It's sort of like Plague of the Outcast, 1 bullet at a time kind of thing. But good question. I hope that helps, Jackie. Anderson says you're a member, but I can't view member content. Let me drop some links for you, bud. Let's see here. So guys, if you're on part of Texas Players Club, dropping links right here into the chat feed. You can go to my, the easiest place to find all of the members only content. The easiest place to find that is on my YouTube channel homepage, right? And I dropped a link to that. It's the first link, the one that says youtube.com/C/TuxedoBandido. Okay, so when you're inside that channel, all right, if you're a member, now if you're not a member, you don't have access to that playlist on my channel. But if you are a member, you'll have access to that playlist. Now, what content you have access to from there depends on what your level is, your member level. And we have 3 levels, right? We have Tuxational Supporter, we have True Bandito member levels, and then we have Hardcore. Now, you need to be at least a True Bandito member level, a True Bandito, to get access to the classified build. So that's the middle tier. And then you need to be a Hardcore Bandito member level to get access to the gamer playlist, the music videos, and some other exclusive content, digital downloads and stuff like that. Yeah, I hope that helps, Anders. So if you're a Tuxational supporter, you might be trying to get access to the classified builds, but it's not giving you access to the classified builds. So you would need to upgrade to a True Bandito member level in order to get access to those. I hope that helps. Herober. Am I saying that right? Herober 247. What up? What up? What up? What's good? Try to get all these names back. Yeah, this Tilt Blazing says it's a nice enemy detector. Totally. It is nice for that too. Like if there's somebody sneaking up on you, and, you know, you don't realize it, it can catch that. Jorge Gutierrez says, just to say, your aim is amazing for unedited video. As a casual player, for horror does work, but with plenty of revive drones. yeah. I have my days, man. You know, first of all, I'm used to these one-shot builds, and so, but like, I mean, right there, I mean, I put out 5 shots, I landed 2 of them. So, I don't know. I have my moments. But yeah, I landed 2 for 2 there. Yeah, so, you know, sometimes I go on a streak, but you know, the performance is better on this thing if you do decide to go with braced, and you are spending a lot of time in cover. I mean, you'll probably get more use out of braced, actually. So the reality is that you're probably braced goes a lot further for your build performance and your killing time and all that stuff, because, you know, it's making your reloads faster and all that stuff too, and you're landing more of your shots. So it's probably the better way to go. I just, for my preference, was I like the headhunter killing sprees every now and again when I am able to proc it. So, but yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for noticing. But I've had my share of practice. Kevin Morrison, Tuxie Rock, thanks for the time you spent on all the builds. Oh yeah, thanks for that, guys. By the way, I hope you guys are on my Discord, and that was the second link that I dropped, and Latina's dropping Discord links throughout this stream too. But you guys, now is a really, really important time that we band together. You know, when the content is at an all-time low, and I know that frustrates a lot of people, but if you surround yourself with innovative, positive people that are also passionate about this game, if you really love this game, guys, then you need to make sure you surround yourself by the community. And so that's what I've done. I've opened up my brand platform, you know, the TuxedoBandido platform, whether it's here on YouTube, whether it's on Discord, whether it's in the clans, or whether it's under Tuxedo's Players Club, Tux's Players Club, any one of those, right? And most of those are free, so you know. The idea is to bring the community together so that we're united in this time where the content is really, really low. Because I think that from my experience, and I'm not just saying that, like, because I really love this game and I try to play other games too, and I go there, and I didn't always. This wasn't always right. Like, I played Division 1 and it was like, meh. For me, I mean, I played it, but I kind of moved on and went to Battlefield and just like never went back to Division 1. And but when I started with Division 2, I did take a break, or you know, early on, like around like TU, like between TU 4 and 6, somewhere around there. But once I came back, I never looked back. I mean, and it's not that I haven't tried. I have tried other games, and they're just not the Division 2. It's just a really unique game out there. And I'm sure you guys have been seeing all the hubbub about Battlefield and all the players they're losing by the masses, and you know, and you guys all know the Cyberpunk stuff, and you know, Far Cry 6, and what was that other goofy game, that Outriders, you know, where you go around killing bugs, you know, kind of gimmicky. It was like fun for a week. All the other Division 2 content creators started covering it too. It was kind of funny because it was just like, for me, it was kind of obvious. It was kind of gimmicky. It was just like, nobody wants to kill bugs, really. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, I mean, the AI, the enemies in this game kind of are part of what makes it so magical, right? And so when you go out there and start killing bugs, it just doesn't seem as fun. You know what I mean? They're not as smart. But I'm exaggerating, obviously. But anyway, so yeah, man. So we could together. This game really never ends. It doesn't, because of the diversity in builds. And some people will be like, oh, there's no build diversity. I've done it all. I doubt it. Because I am constantly building. I'm probably the pinnacle of what's out there as far as like going through builds on a daily basis. I mean, I hardly ever run the same build in any given day, guys. I'm literally, and it has nothing to do with not loving to build. I have so many builds that I love that are so close to my heart, and I don't get to play them because I'm always working on the next build, and I do that for the community, of course. And I love that part of this game. I actually love working on builds and trying to, you know, puzzle them out and figure them out and come up with something that's different and unique, but that still works. That still can get the Tux stamp of approval on it. You know, just still call it Tuxational. You know what I mean? And that's not an easy task. And so I appreciate you, Kevin Morrison, for bringing that up and giving you appreciation. I appreciate you for appreciating me. But I do enjoy it too, and that's what I like about this game. That's what's unique about this game, and it's also why the game never dies. And so when you run a different build, like the Diamondback today, right? I was playing a game inside the game. It was like having I keep saying, it's like having a unique directive on the map, right? And the directive was, I'm going to choose a random target for you, and you can only shoot that guy. You have to shoot that guy first before you can shoot the other ones. It's like that one. It's like that global event. What's the global event where, you know, like you have to kill the boss guy, or he would like shield all the other guys. I forget what that's called. What was that global event called? I hated it though. I never played it because I hated it. But it's like, and it was just like, okay, so there's like 10 enemies that are all invulnerable. I cannot kill them unless I kill that one guy in the back. Was that Hollywood event? Was that the old Hollywood and then they changed it a little bit? But, so you see that? You see that right there? Like I had to shoot that target before I went for this target. Otherwise my gun would be useless. And then I was able to kill him. So that's the challenging part of this. Anyways, so, yeah, so anyway, so I feel like I'm playing, you know, like a global event or its own directive. It's a game within the game. But anyways, that, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, is a new experience. That's a new experience. That's what I mean, a new experience. You can create new experiences for yourself by running weapons that you don't normally run, or by creating a build, that setup that you wouldn't normally use. Like, I'm sure many of you haven't used LMG builds to their full extent. I haven't even tapped into LMG builds yet, guys. We haven't even started with the LMG builds, you know? And it's been a while since we really broke into the SMG build category, too. It's been a long time since I've focused on those. And so we can circle back around there and create a whole new set of builds based on what we've learned through our build progressions, right? Anyways, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see what you guys have to say. Xander600, damn, bro, you are late. Where the hell you been? I know. I missed you guys for a couple of days, man. Sorry about that. It's probably where you were. You were probably like, where's Tux? Tux ain't on, I'm not on. But surprise, I'm here. Squad 51 KMG 365 says, to me the Diamondback is difficult to use, and it's not worth the reward of using it. I can't say I totally disagree with that. I think you definitely have to be in the mood. The truth is that the good news is, for me, this is totally like personal, is that I love one-shot, one-kill builds. Now, this is not a one-shot, one-kill build. And so that's the part that's frustrating for me. That part is frustrating, but I guess what I was trying to get to is that I love the 1886, so I love this variant of rifle. I love the high-powered variants. one-shot rifles like the White Death, the D50, the Regulus, the Mantis, the 1886, the Virginian, the named 1886. These are all some of my favorite weapons in this game. And I have lots of builds for them as well. And so it did disappoint me that this isn't a one-shot, one-kill rifle, that it does want multiple shots. And again, that's why I think Negotiators actually makes a lot of sense for it. Best way to go. But yeah, to your point, it does bring a lot of hazards with it, because you'll be getting rushed and, you know, it marks the target over there. And so I agree with you. But if you're in the mood, then this is a really good rifle. Gotta be in the mood, though. Faux show. But what's really also really cool, though, actually, you know, so contradicting myself and your statement there, Squad, is that I also found myself kind of like, you know, you're kind of playing, the truth is that, you know, you're playing a good build when you're kind of in the zone. And this build had me in the zone. It sort of forces you to be too, right? You have to be really focused. You're like, okay, I want to play my style, which is run and gun aggressive. And I'm not running and gunning, but playing aggressive. And, you know, so Negotiators kicking in there. But this build is, this weapon is bringing me a lot of challenges. But what's most important is that I land my shots. And there's a priority of shots here. And so, you know what I mean? So it's sort of a game, right? I'm playing a game. I'm playing a challenge. It's a challenge game, it is what it is. And so it had me. You know what I mean? I was in it. I was in the game, focused on it, nothing else. And that's a good sign, I think, for any build. For whatever build you're running, I think it is a good sign. Like, if you're totally enveloped in that gameplay, when you're playing it, like, nothing else exists, nothing else matters. I am ultra focused on what's happening, you know? And Headhunter builds do that a lot for me, because, you know, you're trying to stay on those headshots and chain kill and run a gun sometimes too. Then, yeah, that's a good build for me, to be honest with you. But, so that's the other side of the coin, basically. Alice Namen, am I saying your name right? Says definitely, I like the 1886 the best. Yeah, you know, and if somebody asked me if you had to choose, would it be the 1886, the Virginian, or the Diamondback, which are all built on the same platform, which would you say is the best? And I would actually say the 1886 is the best. And to visually see why, and I'm a big fan of the Virginian. I've been pushing the Virginian for a long time, and I still love the Virginian. Don't get me wrong, but the 1886 is the best. And I found that running it with preservation is actually the best way to go, because it frees up the rest of your build to go power. And so you can put all the survivability and really all the power you need just in the rifle of the 1886 by running preservation, because you're always going for headshots anyways. And so you're always getting 20% armor on kill, you know, over 5 seconds. And so that frees up the rest of your build to go entirely whatever you want. You know, headshot damage, crit chance, whatever you want, repair skills. And so that's why I like the 1886 best. Where the Virginian I found was overkill, because I feel like the 1886, this is a big discussion. So you have to sort of watch my last 1886 build, and it was a part of the, I think that was part of the headshot series we were doing for the reanimated event. But I won't go any further than that, because it's actually a big conversation. But if anybody asks me, Virginian, Diamondback, 1886, you know, marry one, kill one, F one, which would you choose? And yeah, the one I would marry would definitely be the 1886. The one I'd kill would be the Diamondback. The one I'd F would be the Virginian. So there it is. It's in the air, folks. All right, so we're going to solo Legendary, guys, in the single shot. Now, I don't complete this thing, but made it quite a ways, almost halfway. in a single try with the Diamondback. Now, I would not expect this build to work, okay? It's the same exact build. The only thing I changed is I took out the, I'm using the turret as a decoy, basically, because it lasts longer. But it's absolutely working. Now, you don't see a lot of what's happening, remember, because of negotiators, but there's people dying as I'm focusing on that tank. So here's the downside. See, that target is like the target is selected is out of range. See that? And so my threat is that tank, but the target that I need to shoot is somewhere else. So I got to get rid of that tank anyways. So I just kind of get it out of my way. So that's kind of the downside, but it still works because you got a lot of damage out that you're putting out. So I'm trying to find my target, and then I start spreading the love. But I didn't find my target because it was, as you can see there, it was actually kind of confusing. There's two tanks, and I couldn't tell which one it's going for. Now I got my target. Now I'm spreading the love. So there's people dying that you don't realize that are dying, just so you know, because they're off screen, and I have them marked because of negotiators. But I don't know if you're catching the sound effects of people dying, but that is happening. And so this is one of those things. The next thing you know, there's no more enemies left, and that's what's happening here. Is that these enemies are just dying, and I'm hardly putting out any shots. If you think about it, right? It's just boom, boom, boom. That's not a lot of bullets, right? When you think about when you run an assault rifle build, to clear this first checkpoint, you basically run out of your ammo, right? You use all your ammo. And so, but look, we got the helicopter dropping down, and I probably put out, I don't know, not very many shots, right? A couple dozen. And that's just because the base weapon damage is so high on this thing. And then you get the amplified damage and all that crit damage guaranteeing, you know, on multiple targets at the same time. It is a massive destruction. My only real threats here are basically the drone operators. So I'm trying to get to them as fast as possible. Taking out the rushers first. And, you know, these drone operators always hide. So that's the biggest pain in the butt here. But we'll make it. No worries. Hey, guys, make sure you're hitting the like and subscribe if you haven't. But definitely hit the like right now if you haven't done that. Appreciate that. Radiated Karma. By far the coolest looking weapon in the game. I totally agree with that. It is pretty badass. That snake is just aggressive, right? I feel like we need a weapon that has like a rhinoceros on it. We need a rhino. A rhino weapon. Can we get a rhino weapon, devs, please? I want to fucking truck somebody with a rhino. Or an elephant gun. Actually, I want an elephant gun in this game. That would be cool. I mean, one where like, when you shoot it, your character like flies back 5 feet. Wouldn't that be cool? So yeah, these chungas are just not a problem actually, and that's mostly because there's a threshold that they don't go beyond, but they're not really a problem. So I guess for me, the real goal here is to not get hit by the snipers. But we're gonna break their armor relatively quickly here. Good news is that the Diamondback is selecting them as one of the targets. So yeah, his armor's broke. They didn't even shoot at him. So let's see, who's it selecting there? Oh, way in the back. You see that? That sucks. But you still get that shot, so. So yeah, this gun tries to get you killed. Gotta be careful. See, it chose that drone, so I had to shoot that drone to get my crits. But again, it's like running a directive. It's like playing with the directive. A lot of fun. You're welcome, Jackie. I'm glad that helped. Mayhem Oz, I thought about that, Mayhem. So Mayhem says that he's been running the Diamondback with strikers for the fast RPM and fast reload. I thought about that. You know, I was wondering how that would be, but I didn't go that direction. But yeah, the handling would definitely help on there. Yeah, Jorge, I used this against rogues already. That gameplay footage was in the opening control point, and yeah, it worked beautifully. And mostly negotiators really helped there, because it was just the cool thing about it, and the reason why it worked really well. So yeah, that's the first checkpoint, guys. Yeah, easy peasy, easy peasy. Yeah, that wasn't a challenge at all, guys. Just choose a nice piece of cover, and there you go. But yeah, Jorge, it actually worked really well against rogues. Hey, let's take a quick pause, real quick. And Jorge, the reason why it works really well against rogues is because I was playing solo, and I only had 2 targets, and so the random selection was 1 of 2 targets constantly. So that means I was constantly getting that 20% amplified damage. So you get 20% amplified damage when you hit that marked target, and then you don't get that amplified damage back again until you get another marked target. So when you only have 2 targets, it's perfect, because you constantly have the amplified damage coming back, cycling between 2 guys. And so, and because I had negotiators, they were both constantly marked, right? Because I was critting on both of them. So it didn't matter. So they would, they always hide, but the gameplay footage is the first control point if you want to see it. But yeah, they went down pretty easy, actually, really quickly. I fought rogues a few times, but one of the times I got in this gameplay footage. But okay, quick pause, guys, on off topic, because I want to make sure we cover this. But I put out a recommended buy list for today, and these death grips are on that buy list. So we are at DZ West, okay? And so you need to buy these if you don't have them, and I doubt you do. These death grips are absolutely amazing. These are a must-have for so many builds, okay? Now, if you don't have any death grips yet, I recommend you buy 2 of these, okay? One of them, you're going to keep the skill damage, you're going to roll on the skill tier, and then you're going to optimize skill damage all the way up. That is both a unique and highly valuable gear piece. So we just talked about the slaughter build. I might have slaughter. Do I have slaughter here? Yeah. So here's my slaughter build. Let me equip it. Okay. So this is slaughter build. The only thing that's different is the mask. It's because I originally created slaughter before the chill out mask came. And so, but this is the slaughter build, guys. One of the most celebrated hybrid skill damage builds in the game. It's got 20% armor on kill with 3, 4, 5% armor regen on 6 skill tiers, right? So it's an absolute beast. The original one had 39% protection from elites, and this one's got 51% protection from elites. It has everything you need to get out of cover and to grab the trophies from the Memento backpack, doing legendaries solo. And with that, by doing that, it sort of puts your skills on, which are already hefty, but every time you grab those trophies, it puts them like on a mini overcharge. And so that's what this build does. It's an amazing build. This is the one build you have to try, okay? This is the build that started them all. What I mean them all is the hybrid series. So also on my channel, guys, I have a playlist dedicated just to hybrid skill builds, and they're in order from when I created them. And I actually suggest that you try them in the order in which I created them. And the slaughter is at the start of them. And so because the slaughter is really what set the mark on a really good, well-balanced skill build. And so all of the other ones are trying to be just as good as slaughter, in my opinion. This is a really good build. It might not look like a really good build, the best hybrid skill build in the game, but it is. It's putting out as much skill damage as the highest skill damage builds in the game. It's running glass cannon, right? You got 6 skill tiers. What do the highest skill damage builds in the game have? 6 skill tiers. What do they have? Glass cannon. But what does this one have? Short-term buffs. What do those ones have? Not short-term buffs. This one allows you to get out of cover to grab those trophies so you get those short-term buffs, which makes it stronger than the classic all-yellow skill builds. The short-term buffs do, okay? And that can't be measured on paper. So that's the argument there. Anyways, Give it a whirl. But these require these 511 gloves that you can now buy today. So I'm suggesting that you buy 2 of these. These are very important, the death grips, okay? And I hate 511, but this is a very important piece to extend your builds. I use the death grips all the time. The reason why, okay, is because you're getting 10% armor on kill from a single piece. Otherwise, you're gonna have to run 2 pieces of Bellstone. And if you're not interested in that 1% armor regen, then you're wasting 2 pieces to get 10% armor on kill, right? And so for me, I'm getting 20% armor on kill with 3 pieces, just like Hunter's Fury would, right? So this has got a Hunter's Fury element, but I'm also getting 1% armor regen on top of that. So anyways, I wanted to make sure that that we took a break and that you got this. And so this did go out this morning as a recommended buy so that you could make this build to perfection. So thanks, guys. Appreciate you for letting me go through that for you. So back to the gameplay footage. Again, we're doing the Diamondback, and we are doing a legendary solo. So normally when I go inside, I don't like to back out into the hallway, but with the Diamondback, you have to, just because you don't have the DPS, quote unquote, to hold your ground. You're just not able to put out that many shots. Also, we don't have any armor and kill or armor regeneration. We don't have any of that stuff. We're relying on armor kits here for armor, so. A bad toss on that, but yeah, so some 1-shot 1 kill there, a couple of those back-to-back, which is nice. That's Headhunter helping out. Headhunter's not always there when you need it though, with this setup, and that's again because the Diamondback doesn't like to hit the head very often, and that's coming from a person that plays a lot of headshot builds, so you know. What's going on, Black John Wick? I'm finally getting to you. I did see you pop in. What's up, brother? What we got going on today? A little Diamondback. Curveball. Curveballs is what we got. Nexus Yang. Saying, I wish we had more inventory space. I know, man. They're holding out. They do not want to give us that one. We always ask for it, and they always say no. And the reason why is because that keeps us playing the game. If we have to destroy quality pieces, right? If you can't save these pieces, then at some point we're gonna need to call into that piece and that we destroyed, and we're not gonna have it, so we're gonna have to refarm it, and it could take days to refarm that piece, right? Weeks sometimes. And so that's the reason why they don't want to extend our stash space or inventories, because they know that it keeps us actually playing more in the game. It kind of sucks. You should be able to buy it though. Like, you should be able to purchase it, you know. How many characters do you have, Nexus? I got 3. I need to do 4. I should have to do 4, but I just kind of been like, I don't want to play level 30. I don't want to go to New York, actually. I hate going to New York. I don't like the New York map. Is anybody else like that? Is it just me? I'm just not a fan of going to New York. Also, you know, when you pass by the Holiday Hotel, you know, you hear that Christmas music getting stuck in your head. Appreciate the quote there, Ultra Mega Man. We need to unmarry ourselves from the developers on keeping this game fun and interesting for us. If you love this game, like I do, then you don't want to be bored. It's up to us. Bandidos unite! We'll turn into a 12-story tall TuxedoBandido robot.
Immediate medical assistance needed.
I don't know what the black hammer is. Can you elaborate on that, Nexus Yang? Not familiar with the black hammer. Guardian event, 92 Alpha. That's what I was trying to talk about. Thank you, 92 Alpha. Sorry, I'm just not getting to that comment. But yeah, earlier I was talking about like running the Diamondback is like playing the Guardian event, right? You can't kill the other guys until you hit that critical target, the marked one. Like the Guardians, right? You got to kill the Guardian first, and then you can kill the other guys. So yeah, and if you're playing this with the Diamondback guys or any one-shot build, you're gonna have to back out. You don't have the DPS to take down these chungas before they get to you. So yeah, definitely tuck and roll and do what you gotta do to get out of that zone. But normally I don't like to back out of that space, but for this build, you're gonna have to do that. You're gonna have to hold it down at the door. Yeah, but yeah, this is like the Guardian event. You gotta get that marked target first. I mean, when you're hitting at 3 million on average, yeah, they're gonna die, right? They're all gonna die. Calvin Bowser! Welcome, man. Tux Squad. Hey, guys, that reminds me the Tux clans are thriving on all platforms. If you want to get involved, let us know. We got a new clans on Xbox and PlayStation. And they're filling quickly. They usually fill in about 2 weeks. So if you want to get in, now's the time. We got clan leaders in the house. So anyways, if you're in a Tux clan, give us a hashtag Tux clan so people know who you are. And if you're interested in joining a Tux clan, the Discord is probably the easiest place to do it. But at your convenience, we also have some of the clan leaders and clan members here in the stream. So, you know, if you're interested, just let us know which platform you are, and raise your paw, and somebody will get to you. Trying to make sure I get to all you guys' comments and questions. If you do have a question, of course, be sure to start that question with the word question or capital Q. That'll catch my attention. Hey, what did you guys think of the new Texas Players Club members? This one's for you. Did you guys see the new build? If you haven't, you need to check it out. I put the link to the new build in the description of this video, okay? But of course, you can always go to my YouTube channel homepage and go to the members only playlist and get access there. But what did you guys think of that new build? Did you like the intro? I hope you did. That one's a lot of fun.
Serious trauma detected.
John Reckner has some nice words. Thanks, Tux, for posting all these videos. I'm a veteran player, and my builds have gotten stale. Your builds are interesting and fun to farm for the pieces. This has given me a reason to get excited. Oh, good. John, my mission, I love to hear that, man. I like to deliver on 3 pillars, trying to stay consistent with my wording on them. But anyway, real quick. Yeah, so you can see, you know, a little patience and smart gameplay by making sure we're in the right position. We killed all those chungas, no problem, right? So, yeah, man, that's what inspires me, you know. But you know, so I like to make sure that I'm informing, that I'm entertaining, and that I'm inspiring. So those are like the 3 main pillars of my brand, of the Tux's brand, TuxedoBandido brand. So that's what I aim to do, and I invite any of you guys that if I'm not delivering on those 3 pillars, then throw something at the back of my head. Seriously, all right? There's something off. There's something wrong. I'm distracted, you know, I'm snorting too much paint chips or something, but no, on every single content piece that I drop, that's my thing. You know, I want to make sure that I'm inspiring you guys, entertaining and informing. I think that it's, with this game particularly, it's utterly important that we deliver on all 3 of those. And that's why I started this channel. I was just like you guys. I was disappointed and bored by the content creators that I was watching. You know, I was just like, why are they so boring? Do they not respect my time? That's how I felt, and about the content creators that I was watching. I'm not saying all Division 2 content creators are like that. I'm just saying about the ones that I was watching. But I was so disappointed because I was just like, they you know, some of them were so dry and boring. I was like, why aren't you entertaining me? And for me, it was an insult. I feel like they didn't respect my time. You know what I mean? Like I don't want a 1 hour build video. I want a 10-minute build video or 15-minute build video. You respect my time. I still want to be entertained in that 10 minutes too. So I want it to be lickety split, fast paced. You know, anyways, we all do, right? This isn't, you know, this is what's defined YouTube, right? This is what makes YouTube powerful, is that it's quick information delivery, basically, you know. Anyways, and so when I created this brand, the TuxedoBandido brand, I, you know, made a promise to stay true to those core values and to make sure that I'm delivering on them. But now we've also evolved to something that's much bigger as well, which is building up and holding and maintaining the community. So I see that. Here's the deal, guys. You know, we have to make decisions as influencers, right? And so you can be a video gamer if you choose, you know. And I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about content creators, right? So are you going to be a video game player? Are you going to be a content creator? Or are you going to be a community leader? And I chose the latter. You know, and so I think that's the most important thing also for me to be right now in this time of the game, but also for the community. That's what you guys need. You know, and I'm not just making that up. That's what I've, you know, from the feedback and whatnot, that's what we need. We need community leaders right now, because in some games, the devs, the brand, right, the label of the video game, they'll hire people to actually do that, you know. Like Battlefield has it. I mean, it's not super obvious, but there's some YouTube content creators that are under contract by EA, by other, you know, brands to be the lead sort of content creator to drive energy behind the game, you know. And so some top tier labels will actually have those people, right? And so, but for the Division 2 has chosen not to do that route. So I think it's really important for us to decide, you know, not every that's not for every content creator or every YouTuber, whatever, Division 2 guys. So I realize that. So it's not everybody's capable of doing that either. So it's not like, you know, Joe Schmo channel, Division 2 channel can be a community leader. So he might just be a streamer, you know, and that's his thing here. I go down there. That sucks, by the way. That sucks. But you know, and so you know, so he does what he does, and so the people do what they need to do, and we need all of it, right? We need people that are delivering just funny stuff. We need people that are delivering that do super technical stuff, and there's going to be nothing fun about that. And you know what I mean? And we need the stuff in between and whatever. But you know, I try to deliver on my platform as well as be a community leader for you guys. Bring us all together. I think we need that now more than ever. But we're gonna need it when the content comes too. When the new content comes, it's going to come, guys. The new content's gonna come, but we're gonna need that unity there as well, you know. Anyways, I appreciate you, John Reckner, for calling that up. Loco fucking Cobra Kai, motherfucker, Cobra Kai. That's right. It reminds me of that. What up, brother? How's it going? I haven't run a hardcore agent, but so that's what I'm saying. Loco fucking Cobra Kai. Sorry, man. Cobra Kai. That just got me there. You got me, brother. You got me with your name. Your name is just making me say Cobra Kai. Like I have Tourette's or something. Cobra Kai. Oh man. So Loco fucking Cobra. I can't say your name again. Cobra Kai. It's gonna make me keep doing that. So that's just, you just bringing up another point. Like I haven't even tapped into the hardcore characters yet. That's a whole nother element of the game I haven't played, right? And so that's what I'm saying. This game never ends. It never ends. It really, really doesn't, guys. And most of that's because of the build diversity. And if you're not utilizing build diversity, then I feel sorry for you. It's time. You need to tap into that, guys. You know, don't listen to those people out there. You're listening to the wrong ones. They're saying that, oh, it's the meta build. You got to use the meta build, and that's it. Now, I believe you do have to use the meta build. You got to know what that build feels like, but it's not the only build that you need to run. That's false, you know? It's going to end the game very quickly for you if you go that route, you know? You're going to have your 4 builds. You're going to have your meta DPS build, you have your meta tank build, and you have your meta status effects build, and you know, there's nothing left. A meta healer build. You know what I mean? And it's just like, that's it. You're going to be running the same 5 builds for the rest of your life. Game over. But, yeah, no, man. So I haven't done hardcore, but, you know, like, running legendary solo is like running hard. It's like a mini version of hardcore, right? And so if you haven't run solo legendaries, that's a whole nother world you gotta visit too. It's not for everybody, just like hardcore isn't for everybody as well, right? So, but I've been meaning to, I just haven't, and I actually that will probably be a live stream subject, as a matter of fact. I'll probably live stream a lot of that content. But yeah, no, appreciate you for bringing it up. And I do recommend it. There's people in the clan, and the Tux clans, especially the Xbox one, that do it. Reaper is our guy. He leads that. So if you're in the Tux clans, especially on Xbox, then you know, reach out to Reaper, and he could he helps people out on the hardcore stuff. You hardcore. Oh, that reminds me, Xander's recommending the game over build. So all the builds that I've talked about today, guys, are actually linked in the description area of this video. So there's some quick links. So game over is linked there. Slaughter is also linked in the description area of this video. Okay, Slaughter. The new Tux's Players Club build that just dropped this morning. You got to be a true Bandito or hardcore Bandito member level to access it, but that link is also in the description area of this video. The last stream is also linked in the description of this video. Also, if you didn't see the last stream, I definitely recommend it. It was actually a dare build, a challenge build, just like this one. This is a challenge build. I wasn't dared to do it, but I dared myself. But it is a challenge build. But the last one was I was dared to create an all named items build, which isn't a very difficult dare because you can go many different ways. But I went in an unusual way. I went a shotgun build, all named items shotgun build, and it actually turned out to be a freaking blast. I actually recommend you run that build. Anyways, that's in the last stream, and I linked that in the description area as well. And also, there's also a link to join Texas Players Club. So if you're not a member yet, and you would know because you have a cool little skull icon next to your name, then now's a chance to join Texas Players Club. So that link is in the description area, and then I also post one in the feed here as well. B-Boy Loretto! What's going on, B-Boy? He says, Tux clan in the house. Patch Pike, what kind of pistol build are you trying, brother? I actually like pistol builds. I really like the pistol builds in this game. Most of them I use kind of like in a headhunter style. Of course, the Regulus. I don't show a lot of Regulus builds though, because I know a lot of you guys don't have the Regulus, but you need the Regulus. By the way, I think if there's one gun to raid for, it's the Regulus. It is not the Ravenous. It is not the Eagle Bearer. I actually think both of those weapons are horrid. And that's a shame. But the Regulus is unbeatable. There's just no weapon like that in the entire game. I think it's actually the best exotic in the game. Definitely in the weapons category. There's just no weapon that performs. I mean, that one can one-shot, one kill an entire group. You know? And on the other hand, the Eagle Bear can kill you. The Eagle Bear is sort of like the Backfire in many, many ways. Where you have to do a lot of compensating on your build, and the reason why is because the Eagle Bear has a defensive talent on it, which means you have to compensate for its lack of power that it's bringing to your build. Where like if you had Strained or Optimus or something there, then you wouldn't have to do that, right? How dare I speak bad about the Eagle Bearer, right? How dare you, Tux? How dare you, Tux? I know, bad Tux. But yeah, so I did create an Eagle Bearer build video because, you know, I had to do it. And I created 3 or 4 different builds for it. But what was more important about that build video is I actually did a comparison with what I call the poor man's Eagle Bearer, which is the P416, the non-exotic version of the Eagle Bearer. And actually, I feel like, you know, just to do kind of an apples to apples run by putting a defensive talent on it, I ran it with preservation, and that provides a ton more survivability for you than the Eagle Bearer does. And that's because the Eagle Bearer requires you to have 3 consecutive kills to get all of that immunity, which is only at 80%, right? And if you don't, then you're gonna die. And the first kill has to be a headshot kill to even proc it, right? And so in order to get 3 kills in 10 seconds, you have to have amazingly high DPS. That's what it's asking for. And so, and then you're also gonna have to get out of cover and chase down your targets. So, because the targets aren't just, unless they're all standing in line and you're spawn killing, then you're lucky, right? But they're not always doing that. So, very situational weapon. But I know you guys in the Dark Zone like it a lot, and for totally different reasons than what the talent I think is giving you. I think a lot of you guys like it because it's just got a bigger mag. That alone. Ultra Mega Man, the 511 build. Yeah, I really like the 511 build. I'm actually thinking about creating a newer version of that Ultra Mega Man, an updated version. It's been on my list of builds to do. It would actually be a different one. I'm thinking that I can achieve the same thing without using 511 altogether now, and that's because of the new mask. The Chill Out mask, because of its extra slot, mod slot, where I can roll in more incoming repairs. The way I'm thinking about it is I could actually not run 2 pieces of 511 and still get the same amount of incoming repairs by using the Chill Out mask instead. So I'm thinking about creating an updated build for that, but that one is a lot of fun. I like that one too. See you later, Melvin. Appreciate you, bro. Dark Angels Hub, what up? Xander says, F the EB. Good, I'm glad I'm not alone, man. Thanks for joining my team, Xander. Who's on fuck the EB team? F the EB team. Jay Morris says, you lit tonight, cuzzo. The Diamondback, what? Yeah, let's make sure I'm showing you guys the build again. Let me switch back to the Diamondback build. So yeah, we're using the Diamondback. So what you want to notice here is that it's actually, so you want 0 crit chance. We got a little bit because the build set's bringing it, but you don't roll anything into crit chance. That's the idea of the Diamondback, okay? You want to go all into crit damage, and then from there, headshot damage. So with this build, we're actually going to be at 245% crit damage once we stack up Negotiator's Dilemma. So we're running 4 pieces Negotiators, and Negotiators is giving us crit chance, crit damage, and then hostile negotiations, which allows you to kill more than 1 target at a time, up to 3 targets, right? And every kill gives you 2% more crit hit damage, stacking up to 20, which is 40% more crit hit damage. And I'm running the backpack, so we're spreading the damage to 2 additional targets by 100%. So basically, you're delivering 300% weapon damage output at a time. So 4 pieces, got crit damage everywhere. I'm running the Fox's Prayer with crit damage. It's an all red build. Playing from cover rifle, but still pushing. And I found all red is the way to go. So there was no need to, and I did try different variations of this, so you know. Ran lots of different ways. The chest piece is probably the optional thing for you here. I chose Chain Killer, crit damage, headshot damage. And it works well. Every now and again, I go on a headshot killing spree, and that's what does that. But the other option that I was showing earlier is you could also go with braced on your chest. So here's the braced version. This one worked really well. It's probably the smarter way to go, actually. It was a preference for me to go Headhunter. But Brace, you can be using that more often, so you actually get more bang for your buck out of that. And you can also solo Legendary with Brace. I did solo Legendary with Brace as well. So you know. So yeah, that's the build. Pretty easy, and then, you know, your skills are up to you. But I make sure I have some sort of decoy, and the other thing is the Reviver. But yeah, this is all built on around the Diamondback, which is going to randomly select a target, giving you guaranteed crits and amplified damage on that first hit. And then you have guaranteed crits for 5 seconds after that. So that's why you want no crits here. And that's also why it synergizes nicely with negotiators. Everybody you shoot is critting, which means everybody is taking 100% damage output on a rifle that's hitting in the millions. So yeah, doesn't get better than that. But you gotta land your shots, and you gotta be in the mood for this. That's sort of the point of this. It is not a beginner's type weapon. Like, if you were a beginner, this would probably get you killed a lot if you're new to the game. I mean, not for everybody, obviously, but some people that come in just like baby sharks, right? That already know how to swim right when they're born. But if that's you, then yeah, you'll do well. But if you're a casual player, this would be really frustrating for you as well, I think. But you got to be up for the challenge. What up, Tucker? What's up? Yeah, which foul are you talking about, Hirober 247? Because there's more than one foul. Are you talking about the foul the para? Or are you talking about the other foul? Do I have one? There's the foul 58 para, and then there's the other foul, the one that's made out of wood, which is a lot more stable. The foul, I think the foul SA 58 para, I think people call that the falsa para, right? But that's actually a really powerful variant. I think it's the second strongest assault rifle in the game. The downside is it's got a smaller mag. It's only got 40 rounds in the mag, whereas most assault rifles have 50, and the Eagle Bear has 60. But you know, that goes to say, you know, this is the part that I don't understand about the Eagle Bear, right? Even with tenacity, you know, with tenacity, the way it works is like the longer you're shooting, then the more weapon accuracy you get. Fuck weapon accuracy. You need stability on that goddamn thing, right? Who cares about the accuracy? This is stability that's a nightmare. Who cares about the accuracy? I don't care about the accuracy. I need stability on that thing. So, anyways, even with tenacity and its accuracy getting better, like, who cares if you have a bigger mag if you're missing all your shots anyways? You're missing all. I could see how many shots I'm missing with that thing, and it's doesn't. I'm like, why do I want this if I'm missing more shots? And it's like that with a lot of these heavy assault rifles. It's not the Eagle Bear, but alone. But like the AKM is super powerful, right? But it's also all over the place, and so I found, and I showed this in another stream, that like switching to the Police M4, I was just a better killing machine. I was actually clearing content faster with the Police M4 over the strongest assault rifle in the game, which is the AKM. See that? Just cleared the field right there. Just cleared the field.
Location guarded by hostiles.
Yeah, if you come in, if you push in close with this thing, it's got, you remember the mods on the weapon, they give you better handling. There's a stability mod on there and a weapon handling mod, reload speed mod.
Incoming hostiles detected.
And then I believe a crit mod too.
Agent in need of backup.
Yeah, Valentin says that the Eagle Bear is only useful for PvP, and that's sort of out of my element, and so and that's why I realize that in PvP it's just a different story. It is. There's a reason why people love it for PvP, and I think you have to be an avid PvP player to know what that reason really is. You know what I mean? But if you're a casual PvP player, if you go into the Dark Zone, you know, if you tolerate the Dark Zone to get some good gear or to, you know, get some DZ credits, then I wouldn't call you an avid PvP player, right? And you probably don't play enough to care to use the Eagle Bearer for its strengths, because I think it is a raw weapon damage DPS strength there as well, right? Justin Deutsch, welcome to the Players Club. Appreciate you, man. All right, all right. Thanks for supporting the channel, man, and welcome.
Supply room access unlocked.
Jay Morrison says, is steady-handed worth using, and what can you think of on the fly to put with it? I think brace with that weapon talent is overkill. Yeah, I would say it's overkill. Because braced usually on its own, I think brings all the weapon handling that even the worst weapons would need. Like, let's recall one. The Bighorn, right? So the Bighorn has pretty bad weapon handling, because the reason why is because if you want to go for headshots with the Bighorn, right? And you want to do that at full automatic mode. So, so with the base weapon handling that weapon has, it's really horrible. It's got horrible stability. And so, but if you just run braced, you don't need much weapon handling on top of that to land all those headshots that you need to make it worth it. So brace is pretty powerful. I find between 45 and 60% stack of 1% accuracy and stability. At 100 stacks, consumes them to refill the magazine. So I feel like, and this is why I've tried steady-handed very few times, but I feel like it's just one of those talents that's really geared towards LMGs, because it's, you know, it's at 100, and so it's increasing. But isn't it, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that how that works? I'm assuming you've used it recently, but I remember using it, and I recall that if you reload before you use it, before it auto reloads, then you consume that. Is that right? I'm gonna rely on you to confirm that, because it's been a while since I've ran that talent. And so that's why I haven't run it. But that steady-handed would be, I actually would probably go for chest talent if that's what you're looking for. That would call nicely to synergize with Striker. I would go with the Striker chest, as a matter of fact. Go for that extra amplified damage. Depending on the weapon, if you're using an assault rifle, you could actually also go, if you weren't going to run a Striker build. So if you're not landing your bullets, yeah, that synergizes nicely with Striker. I think that's the only way to go with steady-handed. Striker. Because it's talking about hits, and that's how Striker reads too. Hits give you amplified damage, right? And so just like Striker, if you don't get your hits, you don't get your amp damage. Justin Deutsch is in the Players Club. So yeah, so I mean, so that's how I'm thinking about it, man. Like, I would go actually run Striker with that. But if you're not gonna run Striker, then I think that's you know, an Obliterate work is gonna require crits, but same concept. You got to hit to crit. So that's the way I would go. I'd probably end up going damage. But steady-handed to me is saying, first of all, you only got 3 talent slots, right? This is how I think about it. Think about it this way. So you only have 3 talent slots, right? 1 on your weapon, 1 on your chest, and 1 on your backpack. So when you lose one of those to something like weapon handling, then you got to make sure you have enough damage elsewhere on your build. You got to compensate for that to bring everything else back in balance, right? So yeah, so with that, I would be like, so that's why Striker makes a lot of sense for me. Not only is it going to help you guarantee you get those hits, because you're not going to get steady-handed kicking in unless you're hitting your target. And Striker is giving you 15% more weapon handling, which is going to help you hit your target, right? So that's the thing. You think about steady-handed. That's kind of a backwards talent, if you think about it. It's going to be like, look, shitty weapons that can't hit their targets need weapon handling. So I'm going to give you a talent that doesn't help shitty weapon I'm going to give you a talent that makes a shitty weapon better as long as you're hitting targets, but the weapon in the first place can't hit the target. So your odds of steady-handed, like, working for your favor. You see what I'm? Do you know where I'm going with this? I know I'm having a hard time spitting it out, but so you're gonna use steady-handed for something horrible, right? Like whatchamacallit, like an LMG that's got really bad weapon handling, right? Or like the P416, for example, right? Or the AKM, right? You put the AKM, steady-handed on AKM, let's just say that, right? But the problem is that steady-handed doesn't start working until you get hits. And the funny thing is that the weapon, it's saying I'm gonna make your weapon perform better as long as you get hits, but the weapon can't hit in the first place, so it's gonna take forever for steady-handed to actually be useful. And then, if I remember steady-handed correctly, I think what's happening, I gotta see if you responded to this, but when you reload, it refreshes the steady-handed talent, so you start back at 0 stacks again of accuracy and stability. But yeah, I would go Striker because of everything we just said. That definitely says Striker, Striker, Striker all over the place. It's saying that this is a talent for a weapon that is so bad that Striker alone isn't gonna fix it. And there's a lot of weapons like that, so that's not that rare. Actually, the Bighorn's one of those. The Bighorn, Striker alone wouldn't fix the Bighorn. Sometimes you would likely need a little bit more weapon handling here and there.
Civilians in distress.
Blackwater, what up? From the frozen East Coast. Is it frozen over there? It's not frozen over here. It's just wet and soggy, man. Wet and sogs. Soggy West Coast. Welcome, man. I never did catch what this thing is max critting at, by the way, this build, but
Friendly control point detected.
And New Biz, did you dare me to use the Diamondback build? Is that what you're saying? Were you the one?
Supply room access unlocked.
Curtis Hayes says, what's the secret to get 13% protection from elites? First of all, you need a lot of patience, but I'll give you a good, the best tip that I can give, which is this, Curtis. So the best place to get 13% protection from elite mods, now it's all about getting your first one, okay? It's like that with any of the mods. So once you get your first God rolled one, the other ones will come, okay? So the best place to get them is going to be on Roosevelt Island, playing Legendary, right as hold on a second. There we go. So let me go to my map. I'm gonna flip to my map here real quick. Okay, so Roosevelt Island, playing Legendary right after the map is invaded. Okay, so basically Tuesday, Wednesday on Roosevelt Island. So multiple guys in my clan. All right, so multiple guys in my clan Let me turn on this volume, but I do want to let this play because I want to show that that rogue encounter. Multiple guys in my clan, including myself, got my first protection from elites playing Roosevelt Island on Legendary in group play. Right after the map was invaded, okay, and so the loot can be whatever. It doesn't have to be mods. If it is mods for your backpack or for your gear mods, then even better, I'm sure. But it doesn't have to be. It could be whatever. It could be tip of spear, backpacks, chest pieces, doesn't matter. But Roosevelt Island on Legendary, and even that's the basis right there. And then right after, I think that the chances of getting it are even better when your map has just got invaded. And that's because your XP is up on the map. And that doesn't mean that's the only place you can get it, but I know that's the where I've gotten feedback from multiple people have gotten their first protection from elites at Roosevelt Island on Legendary. And that includes myself. That was my first. Once I got my first, then I went into the summit and I farmed on Legendary for backpack mods for several hours and didn't get it. Then I switched to heroic 4 directives in the summit and got it within 10 floors. I got my second one within the first 10 floors. And then from there, the other ones I got 3 of them. The last one came in randomly, so. But yeah, so I feel like when you farm the map, like here, like for it to be, you know, I think you get everything but protection from elites. I think you're going to want to run definitely some directives, and you're going to be running a lot of content. It is, you know, RNG based, so there's no perfect science to it, but that's all I can tell you. I hope that helps, buddy. Singius has some feedback for us. Good. This is helpful. So he says, reloading doesn't consume the steady hand stacks. I run it with Stoner LMG, with Striker, or one of the other belt-fed LMGs with True Patriot, and I almost never have to reload. That's cool. And that's actually what I think of what I was trying to say, too. I feel like it is just really tuned for LMGs because of how it's written out, you know? It's designed for 100 hits, you know, and then giving you an auto reload. That just says LMG all over it to me. So, but it doesn't mean you have to use it for LMGs. But that's why I think it's such an unpopular talent unless you're an LMG player, because 100 stacks is a long ways to go to get that armor, that reload on a weapon like an assault rifle, an SMG that doesn't need a reload, an automatic reload. I felt like I think I tried it. It must be the other one. There's another talent. I think it's the one on crits, and I think that's the one where you reload. That is called, is it Fast Hands? Yeah, critical hits adds a stack at 4% reload speed bonus. Max stack is 40. I think Fast Hands is the one when you reload, you lose your stacks. Yeah, that's probably what I was thinking of, because I've tried that actually with the shotgun, and it didn't work even with the scatter. I wasn't getting the crits. I would think that the scatter would have gave me benefit and given me allowed me to get those crits up real fast, but it wasn't working that way for me. But I did get the I see you guys having a chill out conversation. I actually got the chill out mask to work for DPS, but yeah, you do have to have it set up correctly. The only way for it to work for a DPS build is if you have to be running this exact setup. You have to be running the Memento backpack or an exotic. You have to have an exotic on your build elsewhere, because the Coyote is going to be the best in slot. The Coyote mask is going to beat out the chill out mask, right? But if you're running an exotic elsewhere, like the Memento backpack or the Ridger's Pride or whatever, then you can't run the Coyote's mask. So if you run a Grupo and Cheska already on your build, and then you have an exotic like the Memento, then the chill out mask becomes best in slot for the mask, as long as you put Cheska and Grupo elsewhere on your build. But anyways, so yeah, you do have to set it up correctly in order to take advantage of that. Otherwise, and not be using the Coyote's mask on purpose. But Coyote's mask is going to be stronger than the chill out mask. Otherwise, you're going to want to put Grupo would naturally be stronger than the chill out mask also. But when they fix the chill out mask, then you know it's still going to be good. It's going to be even better. It's going to open up some more options because you're now going to get armor, 5% more armor, and that's helpful having more armor for sure. I mean, I'd rather have other things than armor, but you know, it's better than nothing, right? I gotta try that. I see your comment there, Jay Morris, saying that steady-handed works great on the Police M4 because I love the Police M4. I'm actually gonna try it on the assault rifle variants now that we're talking about it, just to clear the air because I do believe it does, and I'm really glad. Who brought that up? Who was it that brought that up? Scrolling up. Was that you? It was you that brought it up, Jay Morris. Okay, so because I think you're bringing up a good thing. That's one of those things that people just don't know enough about it, and so it's just like, so who wants that? Who wants more weapon handling? Blah. Weapon handling is amazing in this game. Okay, so somebody asked me. I think it was. I'm gonna do a shout out here. Let me scroll back up, but I think it was it Rodriguez? Who was it? Who was asking about the rogues? Scrolling up. Raymond Hunt, what up? What up, Raymond Hunt? Just saw you popped in there a little earlier. Gamer Central, I see you have a question too, but let me get back to that. Trying to figure out who said that question about the rogues. I think I'm getting to you. Oh yeah, Jorge Gutierrez. Okay, Jorge, this is for you, bro. So this rogue fight. But watch how easy they are, actually. And that's because, again, the Diamondback, so I only have 2 targets to select, A and B. So because of that, I'm going to have the amplified damage that that the Diamondback gives more often than if I had more targets. And then, because of Negotiator's Dilemma, I'm spreading that damage sort of even faster because I only have 2 targets with this constant amplified damage, basically. So I think it works amazing with rogues or in very difficult small fight situations, by the way. So yeah, when you're in situations like you have 2 Chungas, and that was just like that when we played the Legendary, right? When we were soloing Legendary, like you had these 3 Chungas. It's amazing against those big or difficult targets, but there's only a few of them. Does really well against that because the Snakebite talent only has a couple of targets to select from, so it's not going to choose that random target. The random targets aren't random anymore. But yeah, you see that? So, I mean, just think about how few shots I'm putting out and that we're killing them, right? And if you were using an assault rifle, man, on how many mags it would take to accomplish this. A lot of magazines, right? With just a few hits, we're killing these guys. So that was amazing. A very short fight, if you think about it. Very short fight. But okay, so I did see that there was a comment that I missed. Gamer Central says, "Can you make a video on an insane build for conflict to help an agent out? I don't know what to build, so I don't keep getting killed." Buffalo, keep the vids coming. I'm loving them. Gamer Central, appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's sort of a tall order. The thing is this, is that we have such a large PvE gamer base. That's where I do focus. It's not that I'm ignoring the PvE gamers. It's just that, as you can see, like from my backpack here, that I'm basically always full, and my stash is always full. And for me, and I've spent my time in the Dark Zone playing PvP, and for me, they're completely different builds. There's very few builds that I would run in PvE that would also work for PvP. I think that they're completely different setup. When it comes to PvP, I look at that first kill is the only kill that matters. So I would never run armor on kill. in PvP, for example. You know, I would never do anything that requires a kill first to proc something in PvP. Everything would be based off of just a hit or something like that. You know, so it's an entirely different setup for PvP. And so in order for me to create the builds and to have some sort of, I would need the component diversity to do that, which would take up a lot of space in my stash. And that there alone is something that I have a hard time affording. And so, and then I would need to spend all that time in the dark zone as well. And there's so many variations of players that you come across that you can see that becomes a whole animal all on its own. And that's why you see guys that do PvP and that's all they really do is PvP, or that's all they're good at is PvP, because you have to invest time into either PvP or PvE in order to be sort of master at it, so to speak, as far as teaching it and whatnot. But I'm not saying that as a rule, but I'm just saying, like, you know, it tends to be that way, right? And I've spent a lot of time playing PvP, and I went through like this whole PvP phase as a point in the game, and I had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But you know what I wouldn't do is I wouldn't go in there to farm, because that's just a big disappointment. When you find something that you've been finally looking for, and you're like, oh, I gotta extract this, and then somebody shoots you in the back, and you're like, that sucks. But also, you know, for me, I feel like solo PvP really sucks. You know, like, and I'm talking Dark Zone. Like, I think that, you know, there's guys that go in there and they go with the squad and they own the place because they got a 4-man team that knows what they're doing, right? And when you go in there with some 3 casual players, you know, or you go in there solo, you're just gonna get wasted, you know, and that's no fun. And so and I know that's kind of hard thinking, but I think that if you want to be good at PvP, you got to have a good PvP squad, which is a reason why you should clan up. Which reminds me, the Tux clans are thriving in the time the clans are dying. You guys should be joining the Tux clans. The best place to get affiliated is by going to the Discord. Latina's dropping links. But anyways, nothing what I'm saying is like, you know, it's not a hell of a highway, you know, kind of thing. But what I'm trying to say is that these are the reasons why I don't focus on PvP. Most of it's time, right? Because it's all really time, because I need to basically find the squad to go in there with. Otherwise, it's not going to be very fun. You know, playing solo or with players that aren't up to par with my gaming skills, or maybe I'm not up to par with their gaming skills, their PvP skills, right? And so maybe we all suck. And so, you know what I mean? So you got to invest time into PvP. You got to, and then you got to have an array of builds to handle shit ton of different situations, which makes Division 2 PvP really challenging, right? You got to be able to take stingers because everybody's running stingers. You got to be able to take Lady Death pain because everybody runs Lady Death. Is everybody still in there with the Lady Death? Is that still the thing, right? Ridger's Pride, Lady's Death, you know, all these same builds, right? And then you see the guy with the suit running 2 million armor and the Lady Death and just running circles around you. And takes him an hour to kill you, but eventually wins. I mean, that sucks. You know what I mean? And mostly sometimes it's just smart gameplay, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. He's got a good team. He knows all he's got to do is keep you busy until his homies arrive, and they're the ones that are going to kill you. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why you got to go. I think the best build is no build. Doesn't matter. The best build is you got to have a good team. That's what it's all about. I think everything I said, forget about it. I think that last comment is the most important. The best build I can recommend you is a great squad. And if you don't have one, then you probably need to clan up. And inside that clan, identify 3 or 4 guys that take PvP seriously. You don't want to go into there with casual players, because if you're trying to take PvP seriously, I think you're going to get disappointed and frustrated. When I went with casual players, I'd get frustrated. I'd be like, guys, where the fuck were you, man? You know? I'm in a fight and you guys ran away, and you knew I had something in my backpack I needed to protect, and you guys ran away? Like, if there was anybody that needed to survive, I was the only one that needed to survive. And where'd you guys go? Like, you didn't have anything in your backpacks to protect. You know what I'm saying? It's like, protect the guy with the goods. Like, you guys know that, right? Like, and they'd be like, oh, dude, you're right. I'm sorry. This is like, yeah, well, too late now, right? And then now you're pissed because you lost something that you were really excited about finding, and that was rare, you know? And it's just like, and then, you know. And so that's why you want to go with people that know what they're doing in there. And you guys need to have a game plan, and your builds need to synergize. It doesn't matter what build you're fucking wearing. If your team is synergized in the Dark Zone, you're gonna win. Who gives a fuck what your build is? Let me tell you, because I watch all those PvP videos, plays of the week, builds of the week, all those build videos. But let me tell you, it's this guy killing this guy, and then he kills him back, and then you kill him, and then he kills you, and you kill him, and you hope by the end of the day that you got 1 or 2 more kills than he did, so you can declare yourself the winner. But the rest is just, you know, it's just dick measuring contest inside the Dark Zone. That's why nobody likes the Dark Zone, unfortunately. And I hate saying that, but nobody actually likes it. That's what's sad. You know, I'm always amazed that there's guys in there, to be honest with you. It's, but there's people that's all they do is PvP. That's all they do, and that's all they ever done is PvP. I'm not sure they know how to do the light zone. You know what I mean? There's guys that literally all they do is PvP, right? But I think this game lost its allure in the PvP department a long time ago, and then the devs included have abandoned it, right? Now that might change with some of the upcoming updates. They say that, you know, it's going to change the PvP scope quite a bit, so we'll see. But there's just a lot of reasons not to go into the Dark Zone. So, but it is part of the game. It is part of, you know, my you know, take advantage of all that the game has to offer and new experiences. So I'm not saying don't play the PvP. I'm just saying that, you know, it's a tough place to go in general. But if you are gonna go, you should go, you know, strap up your boots and go in with a solid team and some regulars, and start building up your friend list of guys that you can rely on or clan up, because I think that's the best build you can have. From there, it doesn't really matter. But you know, I mean, I've gone in there with boys that would run all glass cannon, and it was great as long as they got the jump. You know, and that's the other thing too. I think is part of success in the Dark Zone. Like, if you don't flag up, you're not going to be that successful. You know, I find that the guys that win most of the time are the ones that go rogue first, because in most battles and most one-on-one, toe-to-toe battles, the guy that lands shots first is the one that wins the majority of the time. And so if he's flagging up first and he surprises you first, which means he's got half a mag unloaded on your body before you get 1 bullet out on him. And so he's already ahead of the curve, which means he's 9 out of 10 times, he's going to win that battle if he's flagging up. So if you're a guy that doesn't like going rogue or isn't comfortable flagging up first, then you're going to win most of your fights, and that also, you're going to lose most of your fights, and it also means maybe the Dark Zone isn't for you. But, and that's me. Like, I don't like flagging up. I feel like I hit the flag, and I'm like, the flag didn't go up. I don't know if that's a glitch, and if only when I'm playing, but I hit that fucking flag, and it doesn't flag up. And then I'm sitting there shooting at the guy and not hurting him. And he's like, ha, 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 this guy's trying to go rogue. And then he goes rogue, and he kills me. And I was like, I hate the Dark Zone. And then I'm coming out of this is the number one reason why I hate the Dark Zone. Then I'm coming out of the spawn point, the checkpoint, right? And then one of his rogue homies comes out behind me, goes rogue while he is behind me. And it's not like I can memorize everybody's fucking name that's gone rogue ever. And then shoots me in the back as we're coming out, and then, you know, thinks his balls are big because of that, right? Because he shot some guy in the back as he was coming out of the checkpoint after he just died. Like, that's not any fun. Anyways, so those are all reasons why I don't like the Dark Zone, and why I don't understand why some people focus on it entirely. But I hope that didn't demotivate you. My angry rant. Jackie said biggest mistake of going to the DZ was using an Xbox controller. Oh, that's interesting, man. I bet you that changes the world. That's a world of difference. Yeah, Digital Dogs, I recommend that, man. I think that's the biggest thing. I think like that's when you have a good squad. I bet you're gonna love PvP. I think that makes the difference. Like if you just don't have a squad, it's just because it's more frustrating and there's just all those nuisances, right? And so, but I think if you have a good squad, it becomes a very fun place and challenge in a good way. You know what I mean? And those things become less important. All those things that would annoy you become less important, less of an issue. But totally agree. I think it's all about finding a squad. And then once you're there, I don't think your builds really matter. I really don't. The reality is like you kill them, they kill you, you kill them, they kill you. It's a constant back and forth. And every now and again, you can go on these killing sprees, but that's not really, I don't believe that's your builds that are doing that. I think the honest truth and you know, I think a lot of guys have a hard time maybe admitting to this because they think they have the baddest, most unique build. But if you look at it, everybody's running the same builds in there. Everybody's running the same build, right? It's all the Lady Death with the shield. Everybody's got a fucking shield. When I go in there, I don't run shields though, just so you know. I still avoid the shield even in the dark zone. You know, I play my build accordingly though, you know what I mean? So I don't try not to go rush face tank guys without a shield because they're gonna win. So I take advantage of range because those shield guys are basically sitting ducks in target as they're trying to approach you. So, anyways, but I think that it's about the teamwork. I think that just maybe people don't talk about that as much as they should, but I think that's really the game changer for the dark zone. You got a good clan, you got a good squad. Whatever it is, even if you're a two-man team or whatever, four-man squad. But I think four-man's the way to go. You need a four-man squad or you're going to be at a disadvantage when you come across another four-man squad that's got their shit together. But when you got a four-man squad that's got their shit together, man, you're just going to own it and you coordinate those. I like that. That's just what I'm saying. Like, you have this one guy, like the healer-tank combo, I think is really good. Like, you have one guy that's a tank and one guy that's a healer. The tank's job isn't to kill anybody. The tank's job is to distract you, to get you to focus on him. Just like in the real game, right? That's the tank's job in the real game too, is to be the bullet sponge, right? But when you see that 4-piece bulwark with the bulwark shield, or you know, even if he doesn't have the bulwark shield, and he's running circles around you, you better look out for his homies because if he's smart, all he's doing is distracting you, waiting for his homies to get there. And he's on comms and he's saying, "Hey guys, I got him. He's in the open. He thinks he's got me because I don't have the DPS." And then two guys come and flank you with their Lady Deaths and Lady Death you to death, right? And so that's smart gameplay. It's really smart. And you're just like, I can't kill this guy. But if you don't shoot at that tank, you know, then he's going to eventually kill you anyway. So even if his homies don't come, if you don't focus on that tank, he's gonna kill you before his homies ever get there anyways. So you have no choice but to focus on the tank, which is why it's good. And then you had a healer in the mix, so you got a tank that can never die because he's also got a healer behind him. You know, now you're focusing on the healer, and that gives the tank free reign on you, so the tank can now kill you. You see how that's a good strategy, right? And you can only do that with a team. And then you got your two DPS guys that are backed up by a healer and a tank. So, anyways, that's just all good team squad work, whatever. No, I didn't see anything valuable in the vendor resets, guys. The only thing is there was the Hollow Man mask if you need it, but it's sort of like meh. The Hollow Man mask. I mean, if you absolutely need the Hollow Man mask, there is a vendor selling it. But like I said earlier, the DZ, what is it? DZ West is selling the can't remember if it's DZ West or East now. I think it's DZ West. Yeah, DZ West is selling the death grips, and they're a must buy. And I have those on my recommended buy list for the week. So this is what I'm talking about. So DZ West is selling this exact pair of 511 death grips. So if you don't have the death grips, I'm suggesting you buy 2 of them. Okay, so you need to get DZ credits to do that. Speaking of the Dark Zone. So you need to buy 1 and make it look just like this. And then you're going to buy another one and you're going to keep the armor and then roll out skill damage into, you know, something like crit chance or crit damage. But so that it looks like this. So with the one that's for sale, you can get both of these. You can get both of these as long as you have the DZ credits to do that. So DZ West is selling these. That's the must buy. There's also a Hollow Man mask for sale in DZ East. But yeah, you know, it's sort of a so-so. But if you absolutely need the Hollow Man mask, then get it. But and then we're gonna have the Cassie Mendoza reset in 5 hours. So I'll probably stream on that tomorrow if there's anything good there. But yeah, hope that helps a little bit there. My man Jay Morris, if that's what you meant. But yeah, no, I didn't see anything else. Everything else is just kind of blah blah. So there's this Bellstone, but it's not that good. It's got crit damage and repair skills. There's nothing else really here worth watching, worth going through. Yep, but that one hot item is really hot. So don't miss out on that, guys. Honestly, it's worth the grind. So go back into the DZ. Well, basically the point of it is slaughter. So the point of it is, so last week, these knee pads were for sale at the DZ vendor, and they were on the recommended buy list. And then I covered this build, which is called Slaughter. Covered the Slaughter build in detail last week, and the link to that is in the description of this video, so you can watch that all over. And then the only missing link that a lot of people didn't have was these death grips. And now this week, these death grips are for sale. It's like a perfect storm, guys. And so literally, this is the one legendary solo hybrid skill build that you must have. It sets the mark for all other legendary hybrid skill builds out there. This is absolutely a must-have build. I'm telling you right now, you have to make this build. It will change your life and your opinion on skill builds. Okay? So if you're a true believer in the 3-piece Empress, 1-piece Wyvern, 2-piece Hannah Yu skill build, okay? If you're a true believer in that, then this one is going to change you. It's going to change you. You're going to never use the waveform holster ever again. The waveform holster is absolutely weak. It's weak compared to this build, okay? Absolutely weak. So would you rather have 30% skill damage teeter-tottering into each of your builds, or would you rather have 30% skill efficiency to both skills at the same time with 30% skill efficiency buffs happening every few seconds as you're grabbing trophies on kill? Obviously, the latter, right? But skill efficiency, the point is skill efficiency, 30% skill efficiency is way stronger than 30% skill damage. The waveform only gives you skill damage to one skill at a time, basically, because of teeter-totters, right? Where this is giving you 30% skill efficiency to both skills at the same time. And this build allows you to get out of cover so you can get the short-term buffs. And every time you do that, it's putting these skills on overcharge, mini little overcharges every time you grab those trophies. You got 20% armor on kill with 5% armor regen on 1.1 million with 51% protection from elites. This build will change your mind about skill builds and hybrid builds if your mind hasn't already changed. But this is the one build that I absolutely recommend. It's one of my favorites. I would run it. If there was a build that I would run every single day, it would be this one. Absolutely. A lot of fun. So Black John Wick, I actually tried a lot of different. I am enjoying the Diamondback builds, but like we had a big old discussion on it that you missed. But the Diamondback build is basically you got to be in the mood. Now, I was saying that I love my one-shot builds. I love the Virginian. I love the Regulus, right? I love the 1886, and those are all built on this, right? I don't have the 1886 here. I love my shotguns too. All these one-shot builds. but you got to be in the mood. Playing with the Diamondback was the whole point of this video was really about that. The Diamondback is like playing with a special set of directives. The Guardian directives is what I decided it was closest to. Remember the Guardians, the global event where you had to kill the Guardian before you could kill any of the other guys? Well, the Diamondback is like that too, right? Before you can shoot any of the other guys, your gun is basically worthless until you hit the marked target, who might be a difficult target to actually hit, not the one that you want to go for, right? So, anyways, with that, so basically, it's like an event. It's like in a game within the game. It's a challenge, right? And so, what I'm saying is that the Diamondback isn't for casual players. It isn't for new players per se, unless you're looking for that kind of challenge. I think it is more for an advanced player, this weapon. I really think that. And so I was up for the challenge, which means I really, really enjoyed this build. It actually had a lot of fun. I played it for about 2 full days, basically, and had a lot of fun. I was actually surprised that I could solo legendary with it. I didn't think I could do that. I think that was a big eye-opener, but it just shows you how much power in very few bullets this weapon delivers. Absolute beast. But you have to be up for the challenge, because there are times where you're annoyed by the whole, like, I got a threat walking right at me, but it just selected a target way the heck over there in the opposite direction. So, you know, that's again like playing a Guardians event, like having a directive on, a special directive on. So, but I wouldn't make any changes to it. So, getting back to your actual question, I ran several different builds with this. I actually built one up from scratch using no gear set pieces, max crit, headshot damage, and all that fun stuff with Headhunter. I went brace. I went places with armor on kill, but I ended up coming back to the Negotiators build as being the best build. It synergizes so nicely. It ended up actually giving me more crit damage than any of those other builds. I was trying to go max crit damage, no crit chance on every single one, and Negotiators got me the highest. And that's because of the Negotiator stack. So I get 245% crit hit damage on this build with Negotiator stacks, which is giving me 40% more crit damage. On the other builds, I was close, but not quite 245. They were like 230, 235. So this ended up being a lot higher, or 10% more higher, which isn't a lot, but I got all those other perks. I got that hostile negotiations perk with critical measures, and that was a game changer. That's a game changer with this gun. You absolutely need it. It's actually what sort of makes it more manageable. It's what because the hostile negotiations is saying, well, I want you to hit multiple targets anyways, right? And the gun is saying, I'm going to select a random target, not the one that you necessarily want to target, which means you're going to be shooting at multiple targets, the one you need to shoot and the one I'm telling you to shoot. So either way, both of these are kind of the gun and the gear set are doing the same thing, which is saying, I'm going to make you tag multiple targets to get the most out of this weapon. And by the time you tag the third target, all the targets are dead anyways. So it was really, really, I feel like this really synergized well. But I did mention, actually, it's probably more efficient to go with braced on your chest instead of using Headhunter. I just like the Headhunter kill streaks that happen from time to time. Those are handy, but the reality is brace is probably more efficient. You probably get more miles out of brace than you would Headhunter. So that would be the only thing I changed. But I did run Headhunter, and it does also allow you to solo legendary with that talent. So I did do that. So I just went preference in the end, but both are awesome. Both are a great way to go. Good job, Unknown Raptor. He says he's got 3 chill out masks. Yeah, you can still get your chill out masks, guys, and that will end eventually, so it's not going to go on forever. It's just when they consider the end of the winter season. It's not a holiday event thing, it's a winter season. And so I think winter season goes through February. I believe the last day of the winter season for the video game is actually on Valentine's Day. I believe that's what it's like, when the next season would start, and that was projected to be Valentine's Day, which is not going to happen now. They did confirm that they're not going to drop new content in February, but we don't know when that's going to be. But so anyways, I would hunch a bet that come February 14th, that chill out mask will no longer be able to be farmed. But it is possible that they'll end it before that, maybe on the end of January. So all I gotta say is farm the heck out of that mask now. Get every mask you need now. I got every mask, guys. So this one was the most important for me, I feel like. This was the most important one. Getting one that already had crit damage on it. Do you know how flexible this mask is? It's the best mask. This is the best in chill out mask right here. Okay, so I can roll a skill tier there, I can roll a weapon damage core there, or I can roll an armor core, but it needs to have crit hit damage. Okay, now that's better than crit hit chance. It's better than weapon handling or headshot damage, and that's because crit hit damage will go with any build, but crit chance will not. Okay, think of the chameleon, think of the Diamondback, right? So the Diamondback you don't want crit chance on it. Think of SMG builds. All the SMGs come with the crit chance that you need usually. So you don't want crit chance on those. So the crit hit damage is absolutely the best of the chill out masks. And that's because it creates the most flexibility for you. Otherwise, repair skills is handy. Armor regen max out is handy because then you could change the rolls up there. So you see I have armor regen with the skill tier, and you can do armor regen with weapon damage. So skill damage with a skill tier. So I got a lot of versions of these, and these do all make sense. And then you do need one with max armor, of course. So then you can have the other thing interchangeable. I have another crit chance one here, and then I have a status effect one. So I have skill haste, skill damage, and status effects there. Those are all separate builds. But yeah, so I'm not sure how many in the end you absolutely need, but I feel like it's getting close to like 10 different masks, maybe a little bit less, maybe 8. But yeah, but the crit hit damage already on the chill out mask is the one that you absolutely need. And then you would re-roll the core so that you could have it flexible for whatever the build is that you're going to create, whether it's a skill build or whether it's an armor build or a weapon damage build. So super cool. All right, guys, so be sure you hit the like on this, subscribe if you haven't, join Tux's Players Club, and I'm out.
Tuxedo out.